It has been said that a child is the most valuable natural resource in any given community. A child born each day promises a prosperous future for the family. However, there are those children who are born in the most unfortunate circumstances, those who grow up in the most desperate situations. Mental disability is one of those most tragic and least understood of social problems. It is a lifelong condition of impaired or incomplete mental development. Mental disability results in significant limitations in two or more of the basic skills areas necessary to cope with the requirements of everyday life. According to the World Health Organization, there are estimated 400 million mentally disabled people in the world. Mental disability knows no boundaries. It cuts across the lines of radical, ethnic, educational, social, and economic backgrounds. It occurs in any family. For most people with mental disability, limited adaptive skills make ordinary life extremely difficult unless a caring family or social support system exists to provide assistance and structure. This is not so for the majority of people with mental disability in Kenya. Majority live in isolation, suffer rejection, and are forced into a life of untold misery. John Mwangi, 10 years old, spends most of his days behind this cage. Mwangi cannot walk, sit, talk, and is mentally disabled. His mother, on realizing she cannot support him, abandoned him with her mother Miriam Wangoi. Without the extra money to pay for hired help, Miriam is forced to leave Mwangi in a cage she built for him in order to look for ways to survive. This is the only means she uses to protect him from goats or the neighborhood children who may hurt him accidentally. Esther is 8 years and has lived in this bed for the last 1 year. Her mother abandoned her in a local hospital. Esther spends most of her life in this bed with only a rosary as her only hope. Because of her mental disability, Esther was physically abused and neglected. Esther has been given a second chance. She was rescued by the Kenya Society of the Mentally Handicapped. Mwangi and Esther are among the 2.7 million Kenyans who are leading a challenged life, 60% of whom are children. When a person becomes mentally disabled or a child is born with mental disability, the individual and family enter into a new world about which they know next to nothing and about which they have a lot of stereotyped notions. Out of love, fear, or shame, many families hide their children in order to protect them from the social stigma associated with mental disability.
I was taken to the hospital and gave birth to a disabled child. When my husband saw Nancy for the first time, he was angry. He beat me up and cut my hands. I don't know why he did it. It's really hard to explain his actions. Of course I love Nancy. What God gives you, you must love, no matter what the child looks like, because children are God's creation.
Mentally disabled people have historically been victimized both for their disability and by public prejudice and ignorance. They often face abuse, taunts, and rejection because of their low intelligence. They are picked on, mistreated, molested, physically abused, and even humiliated. Eager to be accepted and eager to please, people with mental disability are characteristically highly suggestible. Women and girls are increasingly becoming targets of rape because of the notion that they are virgin territory, hence free from HIV/AIDS. Pregnancy is the key evidence of sexual abuse. Other evidence of sexual abuse is sexually transmitted infections and physical injuries. Grace Njoki, 30 years, is a mother of 2 children. Both are a product of rape.
My daughter's problem is that her memory is very short. She never remembers what you tell her. She's unable to cook or feed her children. I have to take care of them. I am forced to also take care of her. She has 2 children and she's unable to assist herself. She was raped and she got pregnant. People mislead her and sometimes they sneak in when I am in the farm. I am not a strong woman. I do not have money to take my daughter to hospital. But however, God does cure her. The only assistance I can ask right now is with my grandchildren. They need education, clothing, and food.
Lucy Wanjiru, a mother of one, her daughter also a product of rape. Perhaps because of the need to feel loved, they are known with convicted men who have continually violated them sexually, sometimes beating them when they resist. Lucy has contracted gonorrhea and the rape continues to date.
I do not honestly know how she got pregnant. All I saw one day was a big stomach. And when I asked her, she only remembers going to the river one day and some man found her there.
There is a direct connection between mental disability and poverty. In a country weighed down by menace of poverty and misery, people handicapped by mental disabilities are often relegated to second-grade citizens without a voice. Children from poor families are more susceptible to mental disability because of poor households without adequate food, basic sanitation, and access to preventative and responsive healthcare. Living in low-quality housing contributes to a very uncertain life for the mentally disabled persons. Stigma, discrimination, and marginalization are the consequences the mentally disabled people must face daily. This is at the expense of their basic rights, which are disregarded. Mentally disabled people are the unfortunate victims of a variety of reasons, from human neglect, physical and sexual abuse, abandonment, torture, rejection by families and society as a whole. Fairness and justice dictate the need for additional legal protection to enable people with mental disability to exercise such basic rights. They have the same basic legal, civil, and human rights as other Kenyans. Kenya Society of the Mentally Handicapped has been in the forefront in the fight to advocate for the rights of the mentally disabled people since 1971. It's an idea that shaped itself into a project that supports over 700,000 parents or guardians to persons with mentally disability. The organization has 50 branches in 50 districts in Kenya. Under the leadership of Eda Maina as the Chief Executive Officer, the organization's main objectives is to treat persons with mental disability with empathy and compassion, their families with motivation and guidance, and community with information and education, building local capacity to mold them into a strong and self-reliant people. Kenya Society of the Mentally Handicapped's mission is to provide meaningful opportunities for social and economic development of the poorest of the poor so that they gain dignity and respect in life. Do people with mental retardation have feelings, hopes, desires, wants, expectations, goals, dreams? Look in their eyes. Watch their faces. They, each one of them, want to be all they are capable of being. Each has unique abilities and way to both participate and contribute. Each may have a mental disability, but each is able.
We would like the general public to understand that mental disability is just like any other disability, and promote acceptance of persons with mental disability so that they can be able to integrate into the society and become more productive. We would also like the general public to help in identification of hidden, neglected, and abandoned children with mental disability so that help can be availed to them and proper care and advice given to their caregivers so that they can be able to lead a near normal life.
Like all human beings, people with mental disability deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. They deserve a chance to live lives that are as normal as possible. They require special acknowledgement of their vulnerabilities and their mental capacities. Help us give them a chance.